Hi, and welcome everyone. In today's news, we'll be talking about a viral claim going around that you can drive without a license in 3 states in the US. Sounds wild, right? Then, we've got some serious rising tensions between the US and China when it comes to trade, which could shake things up globally. Lastly, it looks like Stephen Miller might be stepping in to replace Mike Waltz as National Security Advisor after that whole Signalgate scandal. Let's begin. The internet is currently abuzz with sensational claims suggesting that America just made driving without a license legal in 3 states. This has raised significant eyebrows, especially in light of the recent surge in reckless driving incidents across the country. It's hard to imagine how such a change in legislation could occur amid growing concerns for road safety. Many are left wondering if these claims hold any truth, or if they are just another case of misinformation spreading rapidly online. The reality is that driving without a valid driver's license is generally illegal across all 50 US states. Every state vehicle code mandates licensing to ensure drivers are qualified and understand traffic laws. Driving without a license remains a punishable offense nationwide due to public safety concerns. However, there are specific limited exceptions. Several states do allow restricted driving under very specific circumstances. Iowa allows individuals as young as 14 to obtain a special minor's restricted license after completing driver's education. These permits allow unsupervised driving to specific locations like work or school within a 25-mile radius, with strict limitations on passengers and driving hours. Nebraska offers LPE permits for students 14 years and 2 months old, allowing independent driving to and from school for those living outside metropolitan areas. Many states offer hardship licenses to individuals whose licenses have been suspended. These are granted case by case for essential purposes like work, school, medical appointments, or childcare. For example, Ohio grants limited driving privileges after DUI convictions for work, school, or medical purposes. Federal employees operating government-owned vehicles on official business are exempt from state licensing requirements in many states. Military personnel stationed in a state may drive with valid licenses from their home states. Driving on private property does not typically require a driver's license, as state licensing laws apply to public roads and highways. This includes farm vehicles operated by minors on family land. The viral claims appear to stem from misinterpretations of these exceptions, particularly laws in states like California that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain special licenses. California's AB 60 law requires obtaining a special license, not driving without one. These licenses are marked with federal limits apply. Some individuals cite pseudo-legal right-to-travel arguments, claiming the Supreme Court has ruled driving licenses unnecessary. These claims are baseless. Courts consistently uphold state authority to regulate driving for public safety. The consequences for violation remain severe. Fines range from $25 to $5,000 for habitual offenders. Jail time can result in 180 days to a year for repeat offenses. Other penalties include license suspension and increased insurance costs. The bottom line, no recent legislation in 2025 has legalized driving without licenses in any 3 states. The claim remains false despite viral spread. Moving to our second story, the trade war between the United States and China has escalated to unprecedented levels, marked by a series of aggressive tariff implementations that are poised to significantly alter the landscape of the global economy. Both countries have strategically increased tariffs on a wide range of goods, leading to heightened tensions and retaliatory measures. The stakes are incredibly high, affecting not only the economies of the US and China, but also the livelihoods of workers, consumers, and businesses around the world. As these 2 economic giants navigate their complex relationship, the ramifications of their policies could ripple through international trade, supply chains, and geopolitical alliances, making it a pivotal moment in global commerce. The numbers are staggering. The US has imposed tariffs as high as 145% on Chinese imports, while China has retaliated with tariffs up to 147.6% on US goods. This dramatic escalation began in April 2025, when Trump announced his Liberation Day tariffs. The origins trace back to 2018, but the current crisis intensified rapidly after Trump's return to the presidency in January 2025. The administration's stated goals include addressing intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and the bilateral trade deficit. Vice President J.D. Vance's controversial Chinese peasants remark further inflamed tensions. During a Fox News interview defending Trump's tariff policies, Vance stated,
"The president's new tariff policy,
the United States of America, to buy things that other countries make for us. And to make it a little bit more crystal clear, we borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture."
China's foreign ministry condemned these remarks as ignorant and impolite, with spokesperson Lin Jian calling them surprising and sad. The controversy went viral on Chinese social media, with 140 million views on Weibo. Chinese officials responded forcefully. Xia Baolong, director of China's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, turned the insult back, declaring, "Let those peasants in the United States wail in front of the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization." The economic impact is severe on both sides. For the United States, consumer prices are rising, with economists estimating Trump's tariffs equate to a $1,300 tax increase per household in 2025. Chinese freight bookings to the US dropped 30 to 60% in April, while US soybean exports to China fell 67% week on week by mid-April. For China, exports to the US, worth $438 billion in 2024, face a 50% drop that could lead to 16 million job losses. Chinese manufacturing contracted in April for the first time in over a year. China ordered its airlines to halt deliveries of Boeing jets on April 15th. The standoff has devolved into what economists call a game of chicken. Trump has claimed active negotiations with China, suggesting tariffs could come down substantially, but Chinese officials have repeatedly denied any consultations. Global implications are dire. The IMF warns the trade war threatens global growth, with potential recession risks. Regional allies like the EU and Japan resist US pressure to decouple from China, potentially reshaping global trade alliances. Who has the upper hand remains contentious. The US leverages market size, but faces consumer price increases. China controls critical rare earths, but risks job losses and slower growth. As both economies suffer mutual damage, the path to de-escalation remains unclear. The stakes couldn't be higher for the world's two largest economies. Up next, the Trump administration's national security apparatus is in crisis following the Signalgate scandal that led to Mike Waltz's ouster as national security advisor. Here's what happened and why it matters. The Signalgate scandal erupted in March 2025, when Waltz inadvertently added Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, to a private Signal group chat discussing sensitive military operations against Houthi rebels in Yemen. The chat included high-ranking officials like Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Screenshots published by The Atlantic revealed operational details, including timing, targets, and critical comments about European allies. Waltz took responsibility in a Fox News interview, calling it embarrassing, though he couldn't explain how Goldberg was added. The fallout was swift. Senators responded with mixed reactions.
The Trump security team is a hot mess, and the one who should go is not the fall guy, Michael Waltz. It is the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who is responsible. He should be held accountable. He should be fired right now.
Donald Trump has a history of dismissing people rather quickly if they don't meet his expectations.
Others defended Waltz's response.
And on the case of Mike and Signalgate and all of that, it was a pretty big breach. It was a pretty big problem, and I think he owned up to it, which is noble to begin with, and took full, quote, responsibility.
Waltz was removed as National Security Advisor on May 1st, 2025, just over 100 days into Trump's second term. Trump nominated him as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, a move widely seen as a demotion requiring contentious Senate confirmation. The leading candidate to replace Waltz is Stephen Miller, Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Miller, known for architecting Trump's hardline immigration policies, has been described as Trump's brain and is seen as unwaveringly loyal to the administration's agenda. Axios reported Miller as a top contender, citing his close working relationship with Marco Rubio and ability to restructure the NSC to a staff-level position, reporting to the Chief of Staff. The scandal masks deeper internal tensions. Waltz had lost the confidence of key figures, including Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, even before Signalgate. His perceived hawkish tendencies and failure to fully align with Trump's America First agenda eroded support among MAGA loyalists. The NSC has faced unprecedented instability, with at least 20 staffers fired since April. Morale is reportedly low, with policies on China, Ukraine, and the Middle East lacking clear direction. Miller's potential appointment signals a shift toward domestic priorities. His expertise in immigration, rather than foreign policy, raises questions about the NSC's ability to address complex geopolitical challenges like China's regional ambitions or Russia's actions in Ukraine. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton warned that Signalgate would be a major part of Waltz's UN confirmation process. The controversy over using civilian apps like Signal for sensitive discussions exposes broader operational security vulnerabilities within the administration. The transition reflects Trump's preference for loyalists over traditional national security experts. The final Republican senator's comment proved prescient. Not surprised, but in the words of the late great John McCain, there are more shoes to fall off this centipede. As Washington awaits official confirmation of Miller's nomination, concerns mount about the future direction of U.S. national security policy under an administration that increasingly values loyalty over expertise.